What? Hey, what's going on? This is GJ Sports. We're back again with another episode here with Rees Vollebregt, and we're going to talk about the big Super Bowl Sunday matchup coming up with Kansas City Chiefs against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. We're going to preview this game, make our predictions, and talk about everything that there is to really talk about on the field. Reese, thanks for being on. As always, you can follow us on all our social pages, DJ Sports Podcast at gmail.com. Reach us for all questions there at our email. Follow us on our social pages on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube. And yeah, let's get into the beer segment. Reese, what do you got for us today?
Yes. I got another Beechwood beer. Beechwood Citraholic IPA. What about you?
Nice. So I just went to the store a couple hours ago, and I picked up the Sierra Nevada Wonderland. Sorry,
Oh,
Wonderland.
nice.
Pretty interesting. Nectarine ale. Um, and yeah, I mean Sierra Nevada. I'm not gonna act like it's my favorite beer, but I liked it. From the few times that I had it. So let's give this a
Yeah.
try.
I was gonna say Sierra Nevada is normally a pretty solid one. So I've never heard of that one though. I've never even seen that bottle before. It's a pretty cool bottle.
Same here. Yeah. I was just walking around the aisle and I was like, oh, this looks interesting. Because everything else was. I went to Albertsons, so I don't know. They kind of have like your standard Heineken and 805s and stuff. But
Yeah.
yeah, let's take a.
Oh no. Almost had a little spill over here. Oh. I don't know what I think about that.
Not a fan.
I was gonna say Beechwood Citraholic IPA. It's got 2 lemons on the front, which I'm not a fan of lemon, so that probably. I guess this. I was hoping it would be more like orangey and stuff, but I don't know what the heck that is. Maybe my taste buds are just messed up. Nope.
Interesting.
Yep, that's not great. How's yours?
It's pretty good. The nectarine, it's not too strong. Like it's not really overpowering or anything. So your standard ale, and then you get like a hint of sweetness at the end. So pretty good. I like how it's kind of like maybe if it was a little stronger, it's tough though because like if it's too strong, it's gonna ruin the beer. So I
Yeah.
guess it's better that it's less strong. So you kind of like, oh, you just get like a little hint. It's not like overpowering or anything.
And do you mean like the actual like flavor or like the beer itself?
I mean the flavor, like
Yeah.
the whatever nectarine they have in here, it's not like doesn't like hit you in the mouth or anything. Like
What was it called? Sierra
so,
Nevada Wonderland?
Wonderland, yeah, nectarine ale.
Wonderland Nectarine Ale. Interesting. I'm
I'm
gonna
trying
have
to
to try
see.
that one.
Yeah, this is really good. I recommend it for sure. Definitely like a good day drinking beer. Um, at the beach or something.
All right, what are you gonna rate it?
Let me take one more too.
Both of us every time, like the last sip before we rate it.
Yeah, it's good. I would give this like a 7.2. Definitely a beer I would go back to for
7.2.
sure. Yeah.
7.2 for the Sierra Nevada Wonderland. Interesting. I'm gonna go with a 6-7 for this one. I'm not gonna be too bad about it because it's not awful. It's just I really like Beechwood. I really like this brewery, but there's nothing special about this IPA. The Citraholic IPA. Definitely go for the other one. I don't remember what the other one was, but Go for the it was the Amalgamator IPA or something like that. That one's a good
Nice.
one.
Yeah, I feel like lemon is tricky because you know, in my experience, like it's honestly not the best thing to have in beer because it's so. If it's too much, then like completely ruins the taste. Like
Yeah,
I don't know. What
and
do you think?
no, 100%. Like I said, I don't know if you saw the can, but it's like yellow and green. So I probably should have been pretty thrown off by that picture of. I mean, I don't know. Like you get like what would you say those are? That's not a freaking lemon, right?
That looks like more like yeah, like a vegetable or something.
Yeah, right. It's weird, but when I'm on the back, it says that it's actually kind of like a malt. It's like a West Coast IPA, but it's kind of like malty. So I don't know. Kind of look
Yeah.
like they whipped something together and it turned out all right, so they threw it on their line, you know?
Yeah, and then when I think of the lemon White Claw, like that's probably one of my least favorite flavors.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah,
um,
that's the worst.
Tricky.
All right, let's get into this. I'm excited about this. I mean, who isn't excited about this one?
Yeah, I mean, you got two really fun, explosive teams with so much talent on both sides of the ball. I'm really looking forward to this game. You know, Mahomes against Brady, even though they don't really like talking about the quarterback matchup because football is of course a team sport, but we get to see uh, the GOAT against potentially the future GOAT, and
Hmm.
just so many storylines. You got Andy Reid, you know, flying this offense back to back Super Bowls against Bruce Arians, Todd Bowles, and then you have LaShawn McCoy, AB, on opposite sides, making their first Super Bowl appearance. But yeah, Reese, what's like the thing that you're most excited about?
Like the storyline that I'm most excited about.
Yeah,
Um, I mean, without going with the obvious, because I think for a lot of people, it kind of goes without saying to mention the quarterback matchup because this is, I mean, especially of our generation, this is, uh, in my opinion, the best quarterback matchup that we've seen in the Super Bowl. So like given that, but then also I guess just the Tom Brady storyline. Like people were kind of making jokes after they won the NFC Championship game that and I think we said it on the podcast that he just picked a team at random. And I mean, this is a 43-year-old guy who is, yeah, I mean, he might be old as dust, as, as a lot of us want to call him, but it's incredible the level that he's playing at right now. And I mean, even earlier in the season, I was the one kind of working against Tom Brady and not believing in what he could do with this team. So I guess everything with him and not only like just this season, but just him as like an athlete and stuff like that. This will like Tom Brady will be only the seventh athlete in American sports history to get 7 titles in their respective sports, and he would be the first one he would be the first one in the NFL, obviously. So this would be a pretty big moment for where it would like he would be there with like Yogi Berra and like Mickey Mantle and those crazy Yankee guys and stuff like that. So this just puts him just absolutely out of the league of anybody else, in my opinion. And it makes it so much harder for Mahomes to catch him. So it's just Tom Brady is just my storyline, which is probably pretty overplayed at this point.
yeah. You know, it's definitely I think something that it's kind of hard not to talk about. Even though it has been talked about so many times, because we might never see someone do what he does, has done ever again. Like you said, those athletes that won so many titles, like it hasn't happened in the NFL, and that's for good reason because it's so much harder in the NFL. You have single elimination playoffs. You have a lower salary cap, 53 guys on a roster. It's the sport where things move the quickest, and like teams can go from a conference championship or a playoff berth to just being last in their division the next year. So
Mhm.
that just makes it what makes what he does so impressive. Obviously, you have to give a lot of credit to the Patriots and Bill Belichick. They've been such a great dynasty for 20 years now. Um, but he was at the head of it, and you can't deny what he's been able to accomplish in his first season with the new team in this COVID-filled season where people barely got to practice. Everything was different. Training camp was all over the place. You had practices, infrequently. Some teams were like doing practices at like high school fields, like under the radar, were trying not to get caught because that was
Yeah.
against COVID protocol. I think the Titans did that with Mike Vrabel got in trouble for that because they were practicing
Yep.
in some random field. So yeah, it's really an incredible achievement, and I think he's definitely one of the greatest athletes we've seen in American sports, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, love him or hate him, because I know a lot of football fans, a lot of people who because yeah, I just I understand that. I was you know me, I was one of the guys for the longest time who was hating on Brady and stuff, but I just think I don't know when I mentioned this, but I've talked to you about it before, like, just the day that we don't see Brady 12 running out on the field, it's like it's gonna be such a weird moment when that's, like, just not the norm anymore, and especially it's not even like we mentioned, it's not even like he's just still here, like, playing the way, like, Brett Favre went out, where he was kinda just jumping teams, and I mean, Brett Favre still was playing at a pretty high level, but, like, I mean, this guy's leading, like you said, a brand new team in one of the most difficult seasons that we've seen, to the Super Bowl as a 5th seed when a lot of people, I mean, even as they're I don't know, we were given a lot of good reasons as to why they couldn't win that first matchup against the terrible Washington football team, so, a lot of people have not believed in this team, and, Tom Brady essentially was the difference maker, at the end of the day, and, yeah, you're right, it does take a whole team, obviously, to get there, and, the defense is playing at a high level. He's got immense talent around him, on the offensive side of the ball, but, just these stories, these things that you hear about Tom Brady. I don't know if you heard about him, after the NFC Championship game, going after the Bucks players who were crying, just tears of joy because they're going to the Super Bowl and stuff, and he's screaming at them because job's not finished, like we're not done yet, and and that's Tom Brady in a nutshell. Like, to some people, that's like, wow, like, let them have that moment, but I mean, you're there to win a Super Bowl, and Tom Brady knows that that's not the time. Like, he's been there so many times, and having that guy in the locker room is just all the difference. So, yeah, I mean, I think you got to give credit where credit's due. Just to what this guy's able to do to football teams, because like you said, dude, it's so hard to repeat. Credit to the Chiefs being in this position, and it's just so hard to have the success in the NFL that the Chiefs are starting to show that they can have, and that Tom Brady has shown for 20 years that is capable of having. So, just having both of these guys out on the field together, Tom Brady versus Patrick Mahomes and stuff, it's gonna be super exciting. It's gonna be a legendary one that we'll talk about hopefully years from now, as long as it's not a blowout.
Yeah, that's my my big thing for sure. I really hope it's a close game and not a blowout. Because I just want to see, um, whether it's like both of these offenses going at it or just both of these defenses even going at it, like just like a close, like a good game, with all the playmakers just playing at their best. That's all you can ask for in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So I don't know how much stock like we should look into their Week 13 matchup, because you know as we've seen with the Saints Bucks situation, the Saints beat them twice, but it didn't mean anything in the playoffs. Um, but I did want to like just take a look at it and kind of just point some things out that I thought were interesting. So, in the first game, the Chiefs jumped out to a 17-0 lead, and Tyreek had 200 yards in the first quarter, which is like ridiculous. They were
Yeah.
playing man-on-man coverage for some reason, one-on-one coverage, which obviously wasn't working. And they eventually shifted away from it, but that was after Tyreek had two touchdowns. Um, the Chiefs defense in the first half, like they did a really good job of holding Tampa to short drives. I think the Tampa's offense started off with like three or four straight three and outs. So um, their defense was playing really really well. The Bucks score a touchdown at the end of the first half, but the Chiefs are up 20-7. But the second half was really interesting to me because you go you go down the field. Tampa Bay does. They kick a field goal. Chiefs score another touchdown. So at that point, you think the game's over. It's 27-10. Um, but the rest of the way, I don't know if the Tampa defense found something, but they only gave up 7 points. I have this written down. Let me make sure. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, they only gave up like 7 points the entire second half. So like, yeah, I don't know if they found something or if they figured it out, but I
Mhm.
think that was a good sign. And it was week 13, so they gave up 7 points in the entire second half. And after the Chiefs scored a touchdown in the third quarter, so for the rest of the game, which was about um, 25 minutes, um, the Chiefs had a total of 71 yards. So,
Mm.
like, looking at that, Reese, like, do you think that was kind of like just the Chiefs taking their foot off the gas, or did the Tampa really like figure something out with this defense?
Yeah, I mean, uh, I think either way, whichever it almost doesn't matter which one it is and which one you wanna hang your hat on there because either way, that's a big deal for me. Like, if it is the Chiefs, taking their foot off the gas, I think this is something that we saw all season almost with them, is that, either the Chiefs' offense wasn't looking fantastic or they were clicking early and they were being the Chiefs of old, but then we would always see late in the 3rd and 4th quarter that yeah, this team would kind of let up a little bit, and this offense wasn't as ruthless late in games and stuff when they had big leads. And in a game like the Super Bowl, I mean, especially the Chiefs being on the opposite end of a big deficit last season and a big fourth quarter comeback. You don't want to put yourself in that position. You do not want to take your foot off the gas in a big game. So if it's that first option, then yeah, that's a red flag. And then obviously, if Tampa Bay's defense is figuring something out about Patrick Mahomes, then that's something that they're looking at these 2 weeks, and that's something that they're hanging their hat on, preparing for this matchup. So, yeah, I mean, I I guess what I'm trying to say is it's probably a mixture of both. Like both probably happened, and both are a little bit worrying for the Chiefs, but it's good that it happened and it's good that they can learn from it. And you never want to just make prediction or just go too heavily on a previous matchup, but both of these teams going into Super Bowl week we're definitely looking at that game tape and paying attention to that. So I think it's just as important for us.
Right. Um, it was like week 13, but like you said, when you have tape of another team that you played against already, so why wouldn't you go back and take a look at it? But yeah, looking ahead to Sunday, you know, the Bucks, they've scored 30 points in their last 6 games, averaging 35 a game. While the Chiefs were averaging 25 in the same span. So you know, I think the Chiefs can score. Basically, they can throw 30 a game if they wanted to. But
Mhm.
I think this is interesting in Tampa Bay's aspect because I think it's a signal that their offense has really been clicking recently. Uh, like we talked about, Brady just got into a new team. There's a lot of new parts on this football team, but it seems like they really started to figure something out as of late, which is why they're in the Super Bowl in the first place. So I think this is one of the few teams in the league that can keep up with the firepower that the Chiefs have. So, and the interesting thing for me is that if either team jumps out to a big lead, like if Mahomes and the Chiefs, like the score 21 points in the first quarter or whatever, um, then like would we be surprised if Tom Brady, made a comeback? Like I think there's always an like a chance for that to happen. And on the flip side, if the Bucks went up early, you obviously are like, all right, the Chiefs are probably going to answer. Like they're going to put up points as well. So I think even if a team goes up with a big lead early, like I don't think either fan base would be comfortable with the lead. Is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, no, I mean 100%. I think if you're a Bucks fan or you're rooting for the Bucks in this one, and you can get all the way down to the the fourth quarter with what could be looking at like a 17-point lead in the game, and again, you could just look back to last year and say, oh well, Patrick Mahomes is playing like crap through three quarters last year, and he turned it around in the fourth quarter in that one. So
Right.
um,
And that was a
that doesn't
really
make
good
you
Niners
comfortable.
defense.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
Sorry.
and that was a really good Niners defense. No, that was a really good Niners defense, and that was a really good pass rush of that Niners team. So when you look at Pat Mahomes, everybody talks about that. Yeah, you want to get after him, you want to disrupt this guy a little bit, but you don't want to blitz him, because if you're taking guys out of the backfield, if you're taking guys out of coverage, then that's advantage to Mahomes, who is one of the best improvisers the NFL's ever seen. So it's it makes it tough to ever call this one done, in favor of the Bucks. And then when you look at it on the opposite end, you're rooting against Tom Brady, who has just made it happen countless times. And I mean, like I've said, has proved people wrong already. So it's like that's not a guy that I want to bet against down 10, down 17. You know, God, I don't even want to talk about. I really didn't want to bring up that comeback, but I feel like we're just gonna have to mention it. It's like the fact that Brady has already proven in the most important moments that he can make the biggest comeback in Super Bowl history and stuff, and then Mahomes has proven in his short career that he can make the comebacks. It's like this game's just going to be a bloodbath until the very final whistle, unless it's just like an absolute blowout, which I'm not predicting. I know people have said that, but I don't know where that's coming from, and I don't know why people think that. I think this is going to be an absolute bloodbath to the end for this exact reason, is both of these guys can make it happen.
Yeah, maybe like something like the Eagles Patriots Super Bowl that we saw a couple years ago, where high scoring, both of these teams just one blow after another, and it came down
The,
to a defensive play.
yeah, and that's kind of exactly what I think every fan wants that, but that's almost exactly what I think is going to happen in this. Is people think there's going to be a blowout, but it's like this has all the writings on the wall to just be it's just a high scoring game. It's going to be one of the highest scoring Super Bowls, and like you said, it's maybe not even one defensive play, but just whoever's got the possession last, because both of these defenses are capable of making big plays and stuff when it matters. So it makes it so hard for like you and I to like talk about it, and then at the end of it like pick who's going to win, because it's like that not only are they so evenly matched, but it's just you just don't really know how to choose a winner in this one.
Yeah. So it's funny you say that because I was gonna say, are you ready for the picks?
Yeah, I was gonna say because you were gonna make me ask. You were gonna make me make one right now.
I could go
Dude,
first.
yeah,
If you
yeah. Please,
if you
please
wanna.
do, because I've been stalling for like a week and a half, and I'm trying to stall a little longer.
No worries. Um, yeah. So I mean, like you said, two evenly matched teams, two teams that have been very hot. Um, And yeah, I've been going back and forth on this all week. Trying to this week's been kind of weird because of COVID and stuff. It's like like completely unlike a regular Super Bowl week. You have like all the media coverage where everyone's like gathered in like a big hotel room and like interviews, and you have like actually people who like at location and stuff like that, which hasn't happened this year, obviously. So it's been kind of harder for me to get a feel of the game. But all that being said, I really like Tampa in this game. I'm
I
gonna
knew
take the
I knew
Buccaneers.
I knew you were gonna do that, dude. That
I'm
made
gonna
it
take the
so much
Buccaneers, man.
harder.
I'm gonna take the Buccaneers at home. I think the home aspect, it's obviously not gonna be like like a regular home game, because there's gonna be limited capacity. Super Bowl games usually have a lot of tourists and things like that. But you know, I think Tampa will be ready at home. They've been so hot. Their offense has been so hot, and I think the turnover battle is going to be a big factor. So in their last three games, Tampa's forced six turnovers, and they scored 41 points off those turnovers. So I think you know you can say that they've been lucky. Their defense has been opportunistic and lucky to force some fumbles and some interceptions, but I think that's just the mark of a really good defense, and a defense that just knows how to go for the ball. And a lot of the times, the team that wins the turnover battle uh, wins the football game. So yeah, I'm gonna go with Tampa.
Yeah, you know what? I don't think you're crazy for that. I've been stalling for a week and a half because uh, I guess I guess I've wanted to say the same thing as you. I want to say that the Buccaneers are my pick in this game when it initially, I think on Monday, Sunday night into Monday of last week, I was feeling the Buccaneers and stuff like that. But as soon as my heart or my mind, whatever the hell it was at that point, started to go towards them, Pat Mahomes, man, started just terrorizing me. And I think you said it best about we don't know a lot. We don't know as much going into this game as we normally do. And the mystery surrounding it all makes it so much more interesting and stuff. And because of that, I want to go with just the talent, like I want to ignore all of the, like everything you said is exactly why I was leaning towards the Buccaneers for a little bit. Is I like this defense right now a lot. I like the way they're playing, and I like the way that not only are they turning the ball over, or are they getting turnovers on defense, but Tom Brady on the offensive side of the ball is working those turnover drives methodically and making sure that they get points off it. Because, like you said, that I mean, whoever wins the turnover battle in football games, like I don't know what the statistic is, but I mean, they win the football game a lot of the time. And when you're scoring points off those turnovers, it's incredible. But when you go into a game like this where shit, anything can happen, and God, I almost want to just ignore all of the typical football arguments, which I normally go to, the run game and the defense and the et cetera. And I'm just ignoring that for this one, and I'm saying Pat Mahomes is the best player on the football field, and he's playing for the Chiefs, and he's going to have the ball in his hands every single time they go out ready to score. So because of that, I'm going with the Chiefs, which is probably completely against my typical my typical go with. I don't like I don't know. Like I said, I'm not like super comfortable about it because it's against everything that I normally go with. But I just think that a guy like that is just going to be the absolute difference maker.
Yeah, I mean, I completely understand. I can't blame you. He will be the best player on the field. Um,
Uh,
yeah, I just look at Go ahead.
I was gonna say, like, with that being said, like I like finishing it off with him as the difference maker is obviously pretty obvious, but it's like I feel like this Bucks team is gonna like they have good linebackers. They're gonna focus on that matchup with Travis Kelce. And yeah, I mean the guy's gonna get receptions and the guy's gonna get yards, but it's about limiting the importance of those receptions and the importance of those yards. And same thing with Tyreek Hill. And it's like I think at the end of the day, it's like he's got one of the fastest players in the NFL and one of the best tight ends in the NFL around him. But if the Bucks are going to win this game, they got to go after the main source of the problem, which is Pat Mahomes. And I'm just not convinced, even with the pass rush and with everything that we say about this Buccaneers defense, I'm just not convinced that they're going to be able to do it for 60 minutes of football. Like I think I texted you guys last year at the end, late in that Super Bowl, saying this is over. Like this game's done. Oh my God! I think it was after Mahomes' interception in the fourth quarter, which looked like it was going to be a 17-point San Francisco lead, and I thought it was going to be done, and Mahomes turned it around. So I think, like I said last time, because of that, I'm done kind of betting against this kid. I think that he's on the path to doing the things that we're currently feeling about Tom Brady. And I think it's probably just scarred me a little bit,
Right. What do you think about the fact that the Chiefs are missing two of their offensive linemen? I believe Eric Fisher and Mitchell Schwartz are out for the game. Does that worry you at all with Tampa's
Oh,
pass rush?
big time. I mean, Shaq Barrett and Jason Pierre-Paul are even with the both starting tackles in, we would be talking about these guys as absolute key guys to watch in this game, because they had 5 sacks on Aaron Rodgers last weekend. They combined for 17 and a half on the season. So they were absolutely reckless. And what it does, like when you're playing a 3-4 like that and you're able to blitz your outside linebackers, it's like, and you have both guys on the edge able to blitz, like it just opens up a nightmare for an offensive line, because you never know like where the blitz is coming from, but they're still rushing 4, and when you're still rushing 4 against a Pat Mahomes offense, you give your secondary the chance to win those battles. There it's yeah, I mean it's definitely worrying, but is it fair to say that I'm just like ignoring all of this crap because of Pat Mahomes? Like, is it fair to say that I've like just gotten to that point, like and it's not just him, it's Andy Reid, it's the whole offense, it's like I'm just ignoring all of those typical things that against anybody else would be the difference maker, and I would call the Bucks. But this is this Chiefs offense that I'm just not comfortable with. I don't know how you stop them. I don't think it's your typical
Yeah,
way. So
I mean, so, like someone like Mahomes, he really like can kind of bandage all the issues you have, any problems, because he's that good. Yeah, it's just it's something in me just telling me the Bucks. We've seen upsets happen in the Super Bowl many times, especially um, you know, with a team with I think is a better defense. And I also look at the Tampa Bay Bucks as a team that's been really hot. They won 3 straight games in the playoffs, all on the road, and they finished the regular season with 4 straight wins. So they won 7 games in a row. And I look at like the Giants teams that beat the Pats. They were both wild card teams, I believe. Good defense, all won games on the road. So I saw something with Sean Payton, and they asked him, what did he think about this game, and he said, I don't know who's gonna win this game, but he said be careful about the team that's won 3 in a row on the road and is hot coming to this game. So you know anything's possible. I could also be completely wrong, and the Bucks lose like 42-20.
no, I, again, I wish I could sit here and like argue with you more about it. I yeah, because I think the Bucks. That's why I'm so excited for this game. I think any given day, whatever you're gonna hang your hat on, not only as a fan but as a critic of the football game, it's like this could really go either way. Like I said, I'm normally the guy who says defense and those typical. Yeah, I mean, even like you said, the three game, the hot. They're probably. I would say the Bucks are probably the hotter team right now. Especially with the way the defense is playing. I think coming into the game that the momentum is going to be a little bit on their side, especially like you said, it being a home game. Like they're going to be, they're going to be coming out of their own locker room. They're going to be coming out of their own tunnel. And that is a little bit of an advantage. We saw what the Super Bowl and what the moment can do to the best of players. I mean, we've seen it over the years. So it's, we got to
It's
cut
tough,
this
man. I get
podcast before
it.
I switch. We got to cut this podcast before I switch to the Bucks, bro. This is bad. This game's gonna be incredible, though. I'm so excited for this.
Yeah. Before we wrap up, do you have any picks for who's gonna be MVP?
Yeah, actually, I think Kelsey. I think Mahomes and this team are gonna do a little bit of work. I think I don't know if it's gonna be a one big play. I don't know if he's gonna go off, but I think Tyreek in that first matchup you mentioned, he went insane. I mean, he had almost 300 yards and 3 touchdowns in that game. So I don't think they're going to let that happen again. They're not going to let a whole lot go deep. So I think Kelsey is going to be pretty key in this one. What about you?
Yeah. So if I'm picking Tampa, I'm trying not to like pick the obvious pick like Tom Brady.
Yeah. I was
But
gonna say I
you
think we're
know,
both trying to avoid the quarterbacks on that one.
yeah, because that it's so easy.
Yeah.
Last year Damian Williams had a huge game. So, can I say two, like Ronald Jones or Mike Evans? I think one of
No,
those
yeah,
guys.
absolutely. I mean, we didn't even talk about the run game, but yeah, I mean, Ronald Jones is a good one.
Yeah, because he's always good for like he's a heavy hitter running back or home run hitting running back. So he's always ready for that big play. And he played really well against the Chiefs last game. So I think if the Bucks are gonna win this game, the running game is gonna be a big deal. But yeah, Mike Evans or Chris Godwin, they're gonna have to have and like one of the they're gonna have to like basically dominate the secondary if the Bucks are gonna win this game. So I can see one of those
Uh,
guys winning.
and you said Ronald Jones, right?
Yeah.
Just out of curiosity, like why him over Fournette?
Yeah, that's a good question. That's why it's kind of like a wild card because Ronald Jones could also have like 3 carries for 8 yards, while
Mm-hmm.
Fournette does most of the work. But um, I think Ronald Jones he's been solid all season. I think he's gonna have at least one big play against this Kansas City run D. Um, yeah, that's just why I was leaning towards Ronald Jones. But yeah, Fournette, I think he could do the same as well.
I was gonna say, yeah, not to put you on the spot with that one, but that there's gonna be a lot of LSU Tigers out on that field. So when you just purposely kind of like diss one, I gotta ask
Yeah,
about it.
yeah. No dissing. I respect Fournette. I've been a fan.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think those are two good picks if we're both gonna avoid the obvious with the quarterbacks. It's interesting that I mean, like if it's on the defensive side of the ball, do you think it's gonna be like just who's gonna be your guy on the Buck, like, because you're going with the Bucks. So who's going to be your guy on the Bucks defensive side of the ball? Who's just going to be an absolute monster this game? Is it going to be like Sue just like wrecking Mahomes all the time, or what?
Yeah, I mean, Sue or JPP. I also want to say like Devin White, forcing a fumble or getting a pick, like just wrecking the entire middle of the field. Like I see that happening as well,
Yeah.
causing problems. I he's been playing out of his mind ever since he stepped into the NFL. So we know how good he is.
Let's say I wonder which one of those linebackers they kind of have focus on Kelsey in the pass game. I don't know enough about them to know which one's better, pass game versus run game and stuff. So it's just all the individual matchups across the field are going to be so much fun.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you got Tyreek against Carlton Davis, and that secondary, Kelsey against Levante David, Devin White, and then
Hmm.
the D line against the O line.
It's gonna be so much fun.
Yeah, I'm excited. We got Todd Bowles too against Mahomes. Really curious to see what he's going to dial up um, against this offense. I think he'll be ready. I think he will.
Yeah, I mean this is a big moment for this Bucks coaching staff, for sure. Just all around the field. It's, yeah, I'm so excited to see all the like just. I think last year, just no disrespect to the 49ers, but I didn't love having them in the Super Bowl. I was trying to make cases for just them as a franchise and stuff, but I'm just really excited that we have two football teams like this. Not only with crazy talent on the field, but just on the sidelines as well. And I mean, going all the way up to the owners, you got interesting stories and stuff. So it's just a lot of fun. I'm so excited. It's going to be one of my favorite Super Bowl Sundays. One of my favorite holidays of the year for sure.
Yeah, I mean, unofficially, the best, the best holiday. I don't know, like why we don't get Monday off, but that's another
it's
story.
it's a shame. I mean, I think my work is I don't know about you, but they're definitely expecting a slow Reese on Monday. So probably a slow, not just Reese. It's going to be a few of us. So yeah, so it's gonna be millions of us across America.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm really looking forward to this one. And yeah, we're yeah, I think we talked about basically everything we can, right?
Yeah, I mean that's everything I have. I don't know if it's official, but you and I talked about we got a little bit of a short podcast coming up, a little bit of a Super Bowl highlight podcast that maybe everybody can check out if they're still listening at this point. So
Yeah. So we're just gonna cover kind of like our favorite Super Bowl moments from recent history, and talk about just NFL news as well. There was a big trade the Rams made that I'm looking forward to talking about with you. So
oh
we'll
yeah, that's your key.
yeah, we'll definitely hit that, and yeah, stay tuned for that. We'll have that in the next few days. All right, look, thank you guys for listening. As always, Reese, thanks for being here. Really looking forward to this one. You can catch TJ Sports Podcast on all of our social media pages: Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook. Reach us for any questions. djsportspod@gmail.com. And let's catch you guys later. Reese, thanks again. And yeah, should be a good one. I'm looking forward. I hope it's a legendary, historic game. All of that stuff.
Yeah, I'm sure it will be. Thanks for having me as always.